Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here, and it's 11:02 a.m. and I've got to be to work in less than an hour. So I'm going to make this one short but sweet. Satanism versus stupidity. First of all, you have so many individuals coming into Satanism. The first book that they get is Anton Zandalevay. Okay? Number one, this book should teach them the philosophy behind Satanism, especially that of the Levian perspective. Okay? But most of them don't delve into the meanings, the etymology behind them, or even get into the actual practicing thereof of the said gnosis within this book. I had a individual that decided to post on my channel. Okay, not this YouTube channel, but one of my pages that I run with my brother, fellow dark sorcerer and practitioner Brian Snelling. Now we set this page up for those who are looking for ritual services, those who are looking for guidance and practices. You know, the serious adepts. But this guy, I had to call him out on this, and I called it the way it was: stupidity. And this is why. I posted yesterday about ego, that you need to leave it behind. It has nothing to do with pride. It has nothing to do with self-preservation or anything else. Ego, get rid of the ego, for it does nothing but hinder the practitioner. Okay, and it does. And I've spoken on that numerous times. Well, this guy decided to get under my page and try to raise a fuss. So I'm going to tell it to you the way it is. Okay, take it or leave it. It's up to you. So this is my view on atheistic Satanism. It's stupidity. It's forgetfulness of past orthodoxies. And it's prideful. Three of the cardinal sins from the atheistic Satanists themselves. The Levians. That's the Church of Satan. Okay? So, first of all, let's look at this. Let's look at the etymology, the terms. Okay? Satanist or Satanism means devil worshiper. It is a path of devil worship. Okay? Atheist means you've already made up your mind as the individual that nothing exists. God, Satan, heaven, hell, angels, demons, or even magic. So why would you be so pathetic, so stupid, and play the D&D part? Think about that. I want you to think about that for just a moment. Black magic is the proverbial phone. The phone call that devil worshippers and practitioners of various sorts use to summon spirits through ceremonies, through rituals, invocations and evocations, through the prayers that are put forth. So this is my question to you atheists who call yourselves Satanists. Why use black magic at all? In fact, why perform magic of any kind? Why pray to a being that you don't believe exists? Why call yourself a Satanist at all? Think about that. Think about it for just a moment. And I want to read something to you. On page 25 of the Satanic Bible, the 9 satanic statements, I find it interesting that all 9 of these, Satan represents. Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. Satan represents undefiled wisdom. Oh, there's a key word there, wisdom, instead of hypocritical self-deceit. Ooh, yep, that's stupidity at its finest right there now, isn't it? Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Satan represents responsibility to the responsible. Wow. Okay. Instead of concern for psychic vampires. Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because of his divine, keyword there, divine, spiritual, and intellectual development, has become the most vicious animal of all. Satan represents all of the so called sins as they have led to physical, mental, and emotional gratification. Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, for it is he who has kept it in business all these years. Now, don't you find it interesting that all these atheists claim to be Satanists and devil worshippers, but yet at the same time stating, I'm my own God. I am God. I am the devil. I am the being. I pray to myself. I worship myself. Really? Isn't that kind of hypocritical? You're playing the bad guy to the church. Satanism has nothing to do with the church. You worship Satan. You worship his demons, his devils. You call them forth through acts of black magic, blood rites, sacrifices, and you pray to them. You call them forth through magical invocations and evocational ceremonies, rites, and rituals. But yet you don't believe that they exist. Hey, Holly. Okay. Well, right here, just on page 25, it clearly states that Satan represents this stuff. So let's go further in, shall we? Let's go to page 144. The invocation to Satan. In nomine di nostri Satanas Luciferi excelsi. Keywords here and key phrase. In the name of Satan, the ruler of the earth, the king of this world, of the world, I command the forces of darkness to bestow their infernal power upon me. Okay, right there. If you're already a god, why are you praying to the ruler of the earth, the emperor of the underworld? Why are you calling on his legions to bestow their divine gifts upon you? Think about that for just a moment. Open wide the gates of hell and come forth from the abyss to greet me as your brother slash sister and friend. Grant me the indulgences of which I speak. I have taken thy name as part of myself. Thy name as part of myself. Key phrase there. Think about that for just a moment. I have taken thy name as part of myself. Even Vocal Colacus Oriax pointed out in his book, the Book of the Divine Black Flame of Satan, when he said, if you're Satan, why then are there 7 billion Satans out there then? It doesn't make sense, right? So there can only be one, just like there's one God, right? That is the JCI way of thinking. So again, if you're taking on the name of a Satanist and you're practicing Satanism, you're calling forth these spirits. Right here, it's saying this. I live as the beast of the field, rejoicing in the fleshly life. I favor the just and curse the rotten. By all the gods of the pit. By all the gods of the pit, right there. Boom. All the gods of the abyss, of the pit. I command that these things which I speak shall come to pass. Okay, right there. You're petitioning spirits. You're petitioning demons and devils. You're petitioning Satanas. You're petitioning the emperor, Luciferi, the kings, the knights, all these dukes and marquis from the Goetia to bestow the gifts that you're seeking unto yourself. But yet, wait, you're an atheist, right? Come forth and answer to thy names by manifesting my desires. And then you get a list of probably about 24 names. Okay? So let's go to a different section. Let's go to the Enochian keys. Let's go to right here. Okay, let's go to page 258. Be right down at the bottom. Okay, but I'm going to read the whole thing. O thou third flame, those whose wings are thorns to stir up vexation, and who hath or hast myriad living lamps going before thee, whose God is wrath and anger. Gird up thy loins and hearken. Move therefore and appear. Open the mysteries of your creation. Right there, you're petitioning Satan to open up the gates to his kingdom, his throne, his creation. Not your creation, but his creation. And right here it is again, the worshiping part. Be friendly unto me, for I am the same, the true worshiper of the highest and infallible King of hell. Right there. Wow. Throughout the entire, that's 3 different books, 3 different sections of the book. Beginning, 3/4 of the way through, and the very end. Clearly state that you're worshiping devils, demons, not yourself. You go into the satanic rituals. Let's go in here just for a moment. Right here, let's go to Hoc est corpus Jesu Christi. This entire section of the consecration is about defiling and sacrilege against the Son of God. Okay? Now, again, spiritualism. John 3:16. So God loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. Oh my fucking God. You're worshiping another being. You're attacking the other side, the enemy of the camp. Or how about, let's go even further. Let's go to page 66. Philip was their king. He was their ruler, but he was also their guide, their spiritual guide. The Templars were arrogant. They claimed to be above all the laws. They had to be crushed. They had to discover the lesson of humility in the jails of their king. Okay? Or perhaps, let's go even further. The invocator. Hail Satan. Hail Satan. All. Hail Satan. Hail Satan. Not just spelled H-E-I-L or H-A-I-L. I mean, first of all, whoever wrote that really needs to learn how to spell. Let's go even further. Page 117. The fire of hell doth provide, and the thoughts from within doth prevail. Open the portals of darkness, O great opener of the way. Come forth unto this cycle. Blast ye forth through the gates of the shining tetrahedron, for the blood has been offered. Wow! Blood offerings, calling forth invocations, petitioning spirits to open up doors and gateways. Do I have to go on? Think about it for just a moment. I want you to think about this. All these so-called atheistic Satanism, all they're doing is canceling out their own acts. They're acting stupid, pathetic, and they're going against their own so-called creeds. Now, is this the type of Satanism that you want to follow? I mean, first of all, Satanism is supposed to be about wisdom, growth, independence, right? It's about the individual, not the herd conformity. I mean, that's why we have so many subdivisions of Satanism. Luciferianism, demonolators. You have traditional Satanism, agnostic Satanism, spiritual. Think about it. So, why would you want to be stupid? Why would you want to be stupid? Why do you want to cancel out your works? You sit there and you perform black masses. I mean, how many times have you turned on the news around Halloween, All Hallows Eve, the Devil's Night, and seen all these atheistic Satanists under the guise and banner of Peter H. Gilmore going to this big warehouse to perform the black mass? But it's the same, and if you look in the background, you got all these Christians sitting there petitioning against them. Protesting is the correct term. They're protesting this event, because it supposedly goes against their God and the Ten Commandments, right? But yet it's more for show. Even Peter H. Gilmore has said, and I quote, "We practice Satanism. We practice black magic. But we are the devil. We are the devils." And I'm using my own terms here, my own words. We are the devils. We are the demons. We are the gods. We create our own fantasy and our own delusions of grandeur. Think about that for just a minute, because that's the atheistic Satanist way. So again, I ask you, is this the type of stupidity that you want to follow? I want you to go underneath Google and type in the 9 satanic sins. Because the 3 that I just named off were only some of them. There's 9 of them total. And they're written clear as day, right in the Satanic Bible, in the book of Satan, in the book of Lucifer. More so in the Rules of the Earth, the 11 Adversarial Doctrines by Michael W. Ford, the 13 Laws of the Brotherhood of Satan, the 21 Satanic Points. See, most people don't even know these things. They can't even quote them. They can't quote them. And yet, if you go underneath the Church of Satan's website, bam, they're right there. Oh my fucking God. Talk about stupidity at its finest. Talk about hypocrisy at its finest. Talk about duality at its fucking finest right there. I want you to be intelligent. I want you to be someone who uses wisdom, because devil worship, spiritualism, it's about self evolution. It's about your personalized growth. It has nothing to do with ego. Even Anton Zandalove stated, a healthy ego is better than one that is out of control. Think about it. If you're so ego driven and prideful that you're not going to learn, you're unable to learn because you think you know it all, eventually you're going to get drop kicked to the fucking curb, and you're going to sit there and wonder, what the hell just happened? What do I do now? Oh, that's right. You'll probably go from one religion to another, never connecting to anything, never getting close to anything, because you will never understand. You'll just simply follow the herd conformity. Choice is up to you. You can follow the herd, or you can separate from the herd and learn. A man who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it. If you give a man a fish, it feeds him for a day. If you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for life. I want you to think about this stuff. It is up to you. And I do apologize for the rocking of the computer screen. Got a little kitten that is in a playful mood at the moment. Adamir is the Arabic name for prince. So, yes. Hey, Lord Hades. It's been a while. How you doing? And let's see, we got Lord Zolak 666. Indeed, it can. That's actually true. You see, a lot of times, and I'm going to tell it to you straight. What was that second phrase that that second proverb that I used? Give a man a fish, feeds him for a day. Most of the time, these things are given to people instead of teaching that person how to fish, which will feed them for life. You see, get away from that stand, punk. You see, if you teach a man how to fish, they're going to go out and they're going to learn from history, because they're going to do the work themselves. They're going to put the time in. They're going to learn from history and mythology by doing things themselves. They're not going to sit there and go, okay, everything's being handed to me. I mean, how many times, I can't tell you how many times I've gone underneath my messenger. You know, in that portion where you got these, people that want to get in contact with you. I have at least 168 people that I have not even talked to. And the reason for that are that they're coming from a region of the world where people want to bullshit you. They want to lie. Well, I don't have Google. Then how did you get on Facebook? I don't have internet. Well, how did you get on Facebook? You see the point. They want things given to them on a golden platter, but they don't want to earn it. That's the difference between a real practitioner and a wannabe. A wannabe just wants things handed to them. They just want to follow this latest fad, the latest popular thing. They have no interest and learning and doing things for themselves. And that's the sad part. That's why that's why the world is becoming stupider. You know, take this whole COVID-19 thing. It should, they put out all the stops, shutting down the government, shutting down businesses for like 2 weeks, whatever, putting out stimulus checks, all this bullshit. Well, I want to ask you this. Where was these shutdowns and these laws and these restrictions back when AIDS was a big thing sweeping the world? What about polio? What about the Spanish influenza? Or perhaps even the Black Plague? Where were all these rules, laws, and regulations back then? You see, that's my point. Nobody does their history. When you go to school these days, they teach this much on a topic that is actually this much. What did my foot ever do to you? Here. Yeah. Now he's playing with my feet. But my point is that you see my point, though. You literally see my point. You don't learn from history, you're going to repeat it. You want peace, but yet you go to war. That's duality. You're canceling out your own words, your own deeds. Just like the Church of Satan, just like the TST. You want to make Satanism better? You want to make it for everybody? Then get out of your ego, get out of your prideful stances, and stop claiming it's only for your members. The TST is renowned for this. You look at any one of their newsletters. Oh, this is in violation of our members. We're doing this for our members. What about all these other divisions of Satanism? You want to sit there and stick up for Satanism? Shouldn't you be politicalizing Satanism for everybody? No, you're just going to do it for your little temple because you got gonads about like this that state, look at me. I'm the bad guy to the church. I practice black magic, but wait, don't hate me. I don't believe in an actual devil. Welcome to atheistic Satanism, everybody. Hypocrisy at its greatest. You want to learn Satanism? Get off your ass and actually do something. Best way to learn. In fact, instead of looking at just these two books, I would actually recommend getting into all Anton's other works, such as The Devil's Notebook, The Devil's Scripture, The Secret Life of a Satanist. You can actually tell a lot about somebody just through that. Go through YouTube and type in Anton Zandalove. Watch his speeches. Watch his interviews with Bob Larson. Incredible. He put Bob Larson in his fucking place. Okay, we're talking about a self-proclaimed Catholic. But yet Larson literally showed more respect for Anton than he did Anton's daughter, Zena, and her husband, Nicholas. Look it up for yourself. It's right there, right here on YouTube. Except for today, it's more about glamour. It's more about look at me. Popularity. What's the latest fad? Nobody asks questions. Nobody sits there and learns for themselves. I recommend Alistair Notch. I recommend Alistair Notch's works to you. I recommend The Order of the Nine Angles if you like to challenge yourself. I recommend Myrmidon Pontifex Maximus or Tentatio Diabolus. 3 books in one. The Devil's Bible, The Devil's Disciples, and The Devil's Coming. I recommend the works by Vokokalakis Oriax, The Book of the Divine Black Flame of Satan. Venus Satanus actually has a book out based off prayers to devils, to demons, and to Satan. Very good little book, little pocket book. Literally, it's a little book, fits in your shirt pocket. I recommend it. Very good one. Get into the Devil's Quran or the Islamic, what is it, Satanic Islamic Bible or something like that. I can't remember. I'm looking at it from right here. I'm seeing the back of it. I'm trying to remember the name of it offhand. But that's my point. Okay? Get into all these other traditions, and I guarantee it, your eyes are going to open. You're going to start asking questions, and you're going to sit there and start growing. Why? Because you're not sticking to one aspect. You're not being fed and given everything. You're becoming an adult. You're learning for yourself. And you're doing things for yourself. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time.